last video, I mentioned just briefly that I may make a video on why I don't like draw reins. So I figured today was as good as any to actually just make one and yeah, just talk about draw reins, and hopefully if I'm good enough at editing, maybe try and find some photos or videos or something that I can kind of use to help explain what I'm talking about. But I'm gonna do my best. We'll see how this goes, because I'm not sure what's gonna happen. Yeah, so I guess I really haven't had much to do with draw reins because my mum is very classically based, so she doesn't like draw reins. A little bit when I worked with show jumpers, they would use draw reins, but I never did. Yeah, that was like the extent of my draw rein usage, except for like seeing them at hack shows and stuff, but really that was it. I didn't even have friends that used them. Yeah, so when I got to Japan, they were all about their draw reins all the time. My boss used them for most of his competition horses. The clients used them. They said it was for a safety thing, I guess, so they could pull them up if they needed to. I always just found them, I had anxiety about everything to do with them. Like even just leading a horse with draw reins on, I was convinced they were going to stick their foot through them because they would just dangle, and it was just, I don't know, I just hated it. Hated putting them on them. It was just, it really went against like me and my riding and what I knew was right. But you know, I was there for 5 months. I didn't really want to start an all-out war. All I could do was, I just didn't use them. Like if I hopped on a horse after my boss, I would always take the draw reins off. I just, yeah, did my best to not use them, and I always found I didn't need them. But yeah, that's just me. So I guess one of the main things I find with draw reins is that when you're trying to find like a true connection, you just can't. I feel like the horse feels like so light in your hands, but it's not true, because you're actually just, like what they're called draw reins. So you're like drawing their head into their body, which is obviously not what we want to do. We want to be pushing them from behind up into your hands, and that just, it can't be achieved. From my experience, I could not achieve a nice connection with draw reins on. It felt fake, because it was fake. And I found that if I shortened my reins, somehow my draw reins were just getting shorter and shorter and shorter, and I couldn't feel that. I didn't feel that they were getting shorter, so I felt that was really dangerous for like the horse's well-being. If you can't feel how short your draw reins are getting, how do you know? Like luckily we had mirrors and stuff, and I'd be like, oh shit, okay, that's not great. So probably twice there I rode with draw reins. Otherwise, if I had to hop on them with draw reins, I would like let the draw reins out as far as I could without them like being a danger, so that I was just working on the snaffle, so that I could actually feel what was going on with the horse. But what you find is if the horse isn't pushing through from behind and powering from their back end, then you're getting this, like, it's hollow, their back is hollow, and they're just like pretty much just arching their neck. That's all that's happening with their hollow back, and their back legs are trailing, and like everything is wrong. it is all wrong, and it creates so many other problems, because then when you hop on them without the draw reins, they're so heavy in your hands. I found like they're just used to you holding their heads up, and once you take those draw reins away, it's just your hands holding their heads up, and so they get so heavy in your hands, and they have no muscle to then hold themselves and carry themselves, because you've just really just been cheating the whole time. And I also found they got really stiff, because again, you are just pulling them. If you're turning them one way or the other, you're just pulling them, and you're using that like reefing around, and they're not actually soft in themselves, they're just being forced to do it. So again, once you take the draw reins off, you don't have that extra help, and they're so stiff because nothing that they've been doing has actually been truly from them, and they're not truly softened for you, and they're not bending around your leg. Like it's all been fake and almost a trick, because you've just been pulling from their head. It's also like an ethical thing, really, because it's quite I wanted to say barbaric, but I don't know. It's just shit. Like if you can't feel what it should be feeling like, then maybe you shouldn't be riding professionally. If you need draw reins to make a horse work in a frame and do anything, maybe you need to reevaluate your riding instead of pretty much taking it out on the horse, because they're just not necessary. They're an absolutely unnecessary part of horse riding. You do not need them. If you can ride, you should not need draw reins, ever. It's not necessary. And it just creates really unhappy horses and unpleasant riding, and it's just a mess. And I don't know why people think that is their only option, because it's just not. And I don't agree with it being used for a safety thing. I guess it kind of makes sense, but you're also putting 2 reins in a beginner's hands, and the chances of them just holding onto that draw rein and reefing the horse's head in with the draw rein is so high, because they don't know what they're doing. I know what I'm doing, and I still ended up with my draw reins too short. So that it's very concerning for me. And it's really wrong if you want a horse that's working correctly. So I hope the people that are watching this, you don't use draw reins, because it's not necessary. And if you are using draw reins, maybe consider going to get a new coach. If your coach is telling you to use them, maybe use your brain and say, other people don't use draw reins. Maybe I should go and find another coach that can actually teach me how to ride properly. Because you can learn how to ride properly. You do not need draw reins. And that's all I'm going to say on that topic. All right. See you later, guys.